What's going on, everyone? Sinterview here, and welcome back to the Sinterview podcast. We are here on episode 8, I think. I could be so wrong with that, but I'm pretty sure it's 8. It's hard to remember when I do this once a month. But anyways, we have, of course, a new guest here this week. We have the Superior. He has 265 followers on Twitch. He is a growing creator. He's just good at what he does, honestly. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for the compliments. We're kind of chilling. I'm just kind of been just kind of doing whatever.
Vibing, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So of course, for anyone who doesn't know exactly who you are, just give like a quick introduction on like yourself and what you do.
Okay. Yeah. I am the superior. You're streaming on Twitch. Primarily just like gaming content, mostly fighting games. I play primarily at the current moment. Super Smash Bros. Melee, Guilty Gear Strive, and Multi-Blood Type Lumina. Kind of like at the moment, just super trending towards Melee. But outside of that, I do some single player stuff, and kind of like as I kind of transition, I am planning in the future on doing like music related streams. So I've done 2 already where they've kind of been just kind of like chill discussion like things. And then another thing is I want to get into speedrunning. So that's generally fighting games, but I'm kind of
Y-
branching out thinking about doing some other stuff.
Yeah, just getting ready to dabble into some other types of content.
Yeah.
Figure out where you can pop off the most. Honestly,
Mhm.
that because that's something that a lot of people do is they'll figure out like where like they see like is doing the best. I guess I don't really know
Mhm.
what words I'm actually looking for here. um
Yeah.
But just going into just streaming in general, what made you end up starting streaming? Because I know that you haven't been doing it for like too long, right?
I streaming is like, at least in terms of like, I have been like streaming. The first time that I pressed the going live button is somewhere mid December of 2018 or 2019, 2018 or 2019
Oh my god.
is like, but then it was just kind of like chilling. Like it was like kind of like college was a bit stressful, and I kind of just wanted to do like other like streaming was kind of like a way to like have an excuse to just kind of like chill out and like do some other stuff. Like I had like kind of been thinking about like streaming for like a little bit. I thought it was fun, and I wanted to kind of do some kind of like content, but like I was really hard focused on music for a long time, of like just like when I was in college, because it was I started streaming the end of my first semester of college was when I first started streaming. And so I was kind of like, oh yeah, like I think that I can make at least a little bit of time for it. So basically from then up until COVID, I was kind of on and off because just my stream schedule was just like, it was like I could really only stream a ton on Saturdays, and that was it. And even then, that wasn't even guaranteed. So my stream schedule was super inconsistent. I was doing it for fun and just kind of like the break. It was kind of like giving myself like a scheduled break away from music and practicing trumpet and practicing other stuff and just kind of doing general life things. And then around the time COVID rolled around and we were all kind of under lockdown, that was kind of when I started to do a lot more. And that was when like I started to kind of like lock in of like, okay, like streaming more consistently. Like I streamed like basically like from lockdown to now, I've like consistently been streaming about 4 days a week, where before it was like anywhere from 0 to 1 to like maybe 2 days out of the week.
Yeah, definitely having that more consistency of streaming 100% helps. Um
Also not currently being enrolled in school, so I just have more time.
yeah, not being in school 100% helps with that. Like the funny thing is like I also started in like I think it was technically second year, but it was like first year of like a new program that I was in.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, and funny enough, it was also music related. um,
Yeah.
but yeah, college is like one of those things where like you have to like try to balance like a social life as well as if you're wanting to streaming, getting your assignments and stuff done.
Yeah.
It's a goddamn nightmare.
Dude, college, it was rough. Like that was like I remember like telling people about like my college schedule, and it was like every single semester having 18 units, and people are just like, "Why?" And I'm like, that was what I was supposed to do. The music like at my school, it was like there was just like basically up until like second semester, like your junior year, they're like advising you to just like max out. They're just like, just get, it's like, oh, you got to do this, and this. And it's just like, oh, yep. And then they put you in like three ensembles. And, it's like, oh, where'd all my time go?
What's time at that point? Jesus.
Yeah.
As soon as you said 18, I was like, no shot. There's no possible way that I could
Yeah.
manage 18 different classes.
Well, I mean, it wasn't really classes. It's like the units
Oh yeah.
of classes. So it's like,
Okay.
counting ensembles, my first semester I had counting ensembles I had 10, I think, 9. And then second semester I had like 10.
Okay.
Sophomore year was, and I think yeah, like both semesters of sophomore year was 10, and again, this is like counting ensembles, so it's like 7 or 8 classes generally, and then 2 to 3 ensembles.
Okay. So it's
And yeah.
so it's probably safe to assume that they went to school for music then?
Yeah, I went to school for trumpet performance. Yes.
Okay. That's actually kind of sick.
Yeah.
So so you're like you like playing your trumpet and whatnot then, right?
Yes, I really, really like trumpet.
What is your favorite thing to play on your trumpet?
Um, Generally, like honestly, I'm not entirely sure how to answer that question because I just really just want to just play it. Like I was like, 'cause it's like really weird because I guess I could say like if I was to like go like again like the thing like when they ask you the question of like okay, what is like the main thing that you see yourself doing, like some people they're like, oh, I want to play in like the state orchestra, like LA Phil, Oklahoma Phil, New York Philharmonic orchestras or stuff like that, and like those kinds of like big name orchestras. That's like purely like orchestral symphonic music kind of thing, or like people want to do like a Gordon Goodwin big fat band or just any kind of like jazz oriented thing. And then some people go into like pit orchestra slash like studio field, and that's kind of where I was like my biggest thing was like being in the studio and like playing for like movies and video games. That was kind of like the big thing that I wanted to do, but also I just really liked also doing those other things too. Like I really just wanted to like play, and I didn't care what I like what I could play. I was just like, okay, whatever you put in front of me, I'll do it. And that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to play trumpet. That was really it. That wasn't anything in particular. I'd say like generally, I think I'd probably be like super duper biased towards like either like big band jazz stuff or like kind of like what you'd expect out of like superhero movie orchestra stuff.
Okay.
Like specific kind of like superhero movie kind of stuff. I really like a lot of that, like that kind of stuff. Those are always really fun stuff to play.
Gotcha. The funny thing is like every single time I think of trumpets now, just just because of my fiance Kate, there's like this one like DJ she listens to that always incorporates trumpets into his songs. His name's Timmy Trumpet. And
Okay.
like it's actually kind of fire. I'm like that trumpeting is kind of nice.
Yeah.
I saw him live when we went to a festival, and he dead ass brought out a trumpet and everything. I was
Yeah,
like,
that's super sick. Yeah.
I was like, that's actually insane.
Mhm.
So of course you ended up mentioning a bit earlier that like the main thing you do is like fighting game wise.
Yeah.
Um so I just wanted to talk about fighting games for a little bit. I'm personally not that experienced with fighting games. You and I
Mm.
have played, you know how terrible I am at fighting games. I click buttons, that's it. Um
And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
exactly. I mean, I played, I think it was
There's nothing wrong with
Street
that.
Fighter 5. I just pressed every button and I won. So that counts for something.
Mm.
So how did you get yourself introduced into like fighting games?
Um, Fighting games. Because there's like two halves to this. There's like me as a spectator and then me as a player. Me as a spectator goes all the way back to 2012 when I saw a video that randomly popped up in my recommended, and it was an Armada combo video. Super Smash Bros. Melee Armada combo video, and I was like, "Yo, this is sick." And then it was like, like there are tournaments for this game. Like, it's like it's showing like tournament highlights and stuff, and it's like, oh, there are like tournaments for this game and stuff. And at the time, I was like, I just want to watch it. Like, that's like one of my favorite games of all time is Super Smash Bros. It's a game that just looks so good in motion to me. And I'm definitely like a super like visual kind of like person. So I'm just like, man, like this game looks so good in motion. And I really like to see the game. So it was like watching tournaments of the game and stuff. And then from there, it was the next game that I saw stuff for was Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And I've played the game for a little bit back in I own a copy of the game and I would play it with my friends a bunch. And I played a team of like Zero, Wolverine, Amaterasu, which is like not a super good competitive team. Like Zero and Amaterasu are like cool, but like Wolverine doesn't necessarily go that well with the other two. But like I remember looking up looking up stuff about Amaterasu because that was like my favorite character of the three to play, and a guy named Marlon Pie shows up who's like him and somebody named Fullstream. I always like mess up his name, and I'm pretty sure it's Fullstream, and they were two Amaterasu players in Marvel vs. Capcom, and then I started watching them, and I was like, from there it just kind of like from those two games is where it started, and then kind of as it gone, it just kind of spread it out. It like spread out, and I started finding out about like other games. Watching Evo. Evo generally has 8 to 9 games in it, so you're just like, oh, like look at the other games, and like you learn about like Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue and King of Fighters and stuff like that. But generally for a while, I kind of like stayed within just like the sphere of, in particular, Smash, and then like just like enjoying traditional fighting games. And like I still like owned a fair share. It was like around 2015 I bought Skullgirls. I had owned Street Fighter 5 for a little bit. And then right before I like got super duper into like grinding the games, I had bought Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, Dragon Ball Fighters. But the game that like started me like grinding was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's like a game that came out around the time I started streaming, actually. It was like a few weeks before I started streaming. It was like end of 2018.
Mhm.
And that was kind of when I was like, like wanting to like grind out the game. It was like after a while it was like, okay, like, like I've been watching a bunch of these games, and like I had gone to a few tournaments before this. Is kind of like for fun as a spectator, and Austino and I, who's like, Austin,
Yeah.
where it's like we went to 2 tournaments close-ish to the end of Smash 4's lifespan. And like just mostly as like spectators, but we kind of like went to compete, went 1-2, 0-2, blah blah blah, and just kind of like chilled.
Mhm.
But when Ultimate came out, I really liked the game feel, and I was like, yo, I was like, oh, I like, I want to put some time in this. Like we put some time in the game, and we're just going, and we went to the first like 6-7 months of Ultimate's lifespan. We went to like 5 tournaments, and like kind of like chilled and like did some stuff for that, and then after that school picked up and it was hard, and from there, like, even if like not competing and stuff, it was still fun to grind. Me and Zolly play like grind out a bunch of games and stuff. And like at first it was like just us. So, it was like it was us, one other friend. Like in Smash, we had Austino, and then we had another one of our friends, Randy, on like traditional fighter side, where like he'd play like Dragon Ball Fighters with us and stuff.
Hmm.
But like generally it was kind of like the two of us because the other two were like super busy, and like while me and Zolly were also really, really busy, our schedules kind of happened to line up more so than the other two. And so we just kind of like kept playing and playing as we went on.
Yeah, I believe I like first met you like through obviously Ben stream, but I think he was streaming Ultimate, and then you would end up popping it in call and just like playing some like fighters and shit. I think I remember that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like being in the EG call and like
Yeah.
while Ben's streaming, we're going, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like you guys, and then Twinkie got in the mix, of course,
Yeah.
because he loves his fighting games as well. He's like in EG in general before you, Ostino, and Zolly showed up. It was primarily, I think, just Twinkie playing the fighting games. No one else wanted to get in
Mm,
the mix. I,
yeah.
I would try to every now and then with him, and then I'd be like, dude, I'm just getting clapped. I'm tired. Time out. I am so
Yeah.
done. Um. So so when did you end up meeting like Ostino and Zolly? Speaking of which.
Um, I mean, we went to school together. Austin in particular, in 7th grade, we had like the same like science class, and that was when we met. And we've just kind of been chilling ever since. Like throughout middle school, it was kind of like me, him, and another one of our friends. We were kind of like us three hung out a ton for like throughout like middle school. And Zolly, I knew of his existence like since 7th grade, but we honestly didn't really like we've like known each other, but we didn't really like talk and become friends until like 3 or 4 years after. It was like our 10th grade, where like um we like that was when he got into jazz band. And then like our 5th period, like jazz band was 4th period, our 5th period, it was like right next to each other. So we just kind of would like walk to 5th period together, and we just like talk, and then eventually we just kind of like became like good friends. Like we had a mutual friend in Randy. We had a mutual friend where like I was like we were like he like those two are like childhood friends, like actually like fucking fetus whatever. And like I like met Randy, and we talked a bunch throughout middle school and like into high school and stuff. But like we just kind of like but even though we had that mutual friend, like we didn't really talk like to each other
Hmm.
until then. And then from there we've just kind of just hung out a ton, just like a bunch of us who just hang out.
Okay. Yeah. Like I wasn't sure like if it was like a through college thing or like through
Yeah, no,
like
it's like
Discord or
through
anything
like
like
high
that.
school, like we went to school together. Like
Gotcha.
Austin was not in band, but Jacob was in band. Jacob played trombone.
Hmm.
So it was like just he was in band and I'm also there.
That's just how it works, right? It
Yeah.
I always find like as soon as you get those like handful of friends from high school and whatnot, those are the ones that end up sticking around the longest. Because I literally have three friends that I still talk to from high school, but I don't talk with or fuck with anyone else from high school.
Yeah, there's definitely like that. I feel like for me, there's like it's like a slightly larger amount of people that I definitely like I've like known, and I'm like, I message you heavy, but I mean like in terms of people who I regularly talk with from high school,
Hmm.
that number is not very big. There's like people who I like can talk to, and we know each other, and like it's super chill, and we're like, yeah, no, like we can go like hang out or whatever as if like nothing happened. But it's like really like Zolly, Austino, and then there are three other people. One, Randy, who I've mentioned, and then two others who are like that like group. It's like us, that's kind of like that group of people that it's like, yeah, no, like always, like I'm generally talking to a decent amount pretty often.
Yeah, of course. So I'm just gonna quickly get back into like just like competitive gaming, just like in general, because of course you went to tournaments and whatnot for Smash Bros. Um, what was there any other tournaments that you actually went to for fighting games, or was it just
Um,
only Smash? I feel
in
like it probably
person,
wasn't.
in person, only Smash Ultimate.
Okay.
However, there were kind of points in time where I did play in other tournaments. I am not nearly as good as in traditional fighters than I am at Smash, and especially as I was at Ultimate at the time.
Hmm.
And so, like, I've like played in other things where it's like, I did like a 2v2 tournament with Jacob where like where neither of us were as good at Skullgirls, so we just kind of got bodied, but we did it.
Hmm.
I did a tournament for Cloud 805's the Cloud series or the content series, depending
Hmm.
on when you talk about it. For Dragon Ball Fighters, I did one for those. And then super like but it's like so like all like a bunch of online tournaments, and then very recently I did a bunch of on different online tournaments for Guilty Gear Strive. There was like a solid like week. It was like a 7 days in a row where I did like 3 or 4 tournaments.
Jesus
Where it was
Christ.
like I did like it was like TGS Open, I think. It's like the gaming station or whatever, which is like a weekly. That was I got bodied. I got bodied. I think I went like 1 and 2 in that one. There was Bamboo Battles, which is like one of the Panda is like one of like the esports orgs out there that's like really big into like Smash and fighting games.
Panda Global,
That
right?
is, yeah.
Yeah.
They have Bamboo Battles. It was like I did that one within that week, and I got like I think like set wise, I think I went 5 and 2, which is like way better. And it was like what 25th out of like 155 for the weekly. It was at like the beginning of the game, so it was definitely like a decently big event.
Hmm.
And then like at the end of that week, I did Fight Back Strive, which is like it was like a smaller tournament ran by Munoz Scyther, who runs a tournament of like the same name but for Skullgirls. He wanted to do one for Strive, and I did that one where I got 4th. Yeah, I got like 4th. And like I've like he's had 2 more that I've participated in both, and I think I got 5th in both of those.
Yeah, I mean,
Which, it's kind of
top
like,
10, top 10's pretty nice.
yeah, it was like those are lots of fun. I think it was like around they were around like 20 in each one. So it was like 4th, 5th, and 5th out of like 20ish.
Yeah, that's not bad. So you didn't mention Panda Global there for a quick sec. I just want to quickly hop into something that you've obviously probably most likely already heard about the whole Nintendo partnering up with Panda Global. I can see that smirk on your face already, and and the fact that they ended up mentioning, I think they said, did they say something about tournaments for Melee coming, or
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's tournaments for. It's like it's a North American circuit for Ultimate and for Melee. Or I'm not sure if it's a circuit, but it's either a circuit or just like a string of tournaments for both Ultimate and Melee that are sponsored by Nintendo of America. And just to get into how I think about it, it's very 50-50. Because as much as I trust the people over at Panda, and honestly, even Nintendo of America is generally about the Smash scene. It's just it depends on how much like the quality of these events will determine how like is super dependent on how little say Nintendo has.
Mhm.
The less say that Nintendo has, the better these events are probably going to be. The more say they have, the more tragic they might be. Just straight up, because funnily enough, Nintendo of America does not have very much power. in when it comes to Smash. They just don't. They
Mhm.
don't. Even though it says Nintendo of America cease and desisted this event and that event, it was not actually Nintendo of America. It was Nintendo of Japan telling Nintendo of America to cease and desist the event because that is the English speaking branch. So it's the English speaking branch that's going to talk to those people. But like
Mhm.
Nintendo of America is fine with it. It's like, well,
Yeah.
like, they're not going to openly state it, but it's decently known throughout where like Nintendo of America is perfectly fine with turning a blind eye. It's just Nintendo of Japan isn't, which
Mhm.
it sucks, but that's just kind of how it is. Like Japanese game devs definitely have a bit of pride in their works, which isn't necessarily a problem they have every right to, but because of that kind of pride-ish sort of thing in their work, it causes that's like, oh, like, we don't want anything that isn't our vision put on the game for a lot of Japanese devs. So
Mhm.
that's generally why things like Slippy, things like PM, now Project Plus generally they're trying to like, hey, yo, get that out of here.
Yeah. I I definitely find it difficult, like especially with like Nintendo, because of like the same reason that you mentioned, because mainly like Nintendo Japan telling America to do whatever. But like every single time I end up trying to upload any sort of like React content to like a trailer or something like that, e- even if I like pause it like every now and then, it um I always get hit with a copyright, and it's like,
Oh,
hey
you love
yo,
to see it.
I'm
You love to see it.
every single time, while I believe it was when Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and Let's Go Pikachu Eevee were dropping all their announcements, I would end up like
Yeah.
reacting to it and like discussing it, and
Mhm.
then not like even before the video is actually live, I end up getting shot. I'm like, okay, I'll go.
Yep.
I'll just go fuck myself, I
Yeah.
guess.
No, it's like it's super hard. Like all of that like copyright stuff. It's
Yeah.
like it's hard to like work around and it's hard to kind of like even as like a it's like weird. When it comes to copyright, like I won't really get like too much into it really, but it's kind of like things where it's like, you can do this thing sort of thing where it's kind of like it's hard to kind of work around like what's fair use and what is like actually copyright or
Hmm.
what company, like the company kind of trying to bog down because like especially when it's like an automated system as well, like the automated system can be rough on you
Oh
too.
my god.
It's like there's like the manual copyright. It's just it is really, really, really hard to work around copyright as a like content creator, like as
Hmm.
like a YouTuber, even with like DMCA on Twitch.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot easier with DMCA on Twitch because you just don't do the thing. But
Yeah.
and generally when it comes to like a lot of like the React Andy stuff, like again, like they don't really get on it like they do on YouTube.
Hmm.
They don't really get on it. So it's like, oh yeah, you can do the live react on Twitch, even if you leave the VOD up, they're not gonna shoot it kind of
Yeah.
thing. It's like,
Yeah. I feel like it's because on YouTube, of course, there's like more eyes that go to it, because
yeah.
on Twitch, it's not really, people don't go through like VODs, honestly.
Yeah,
Like I
people like
I have never met a single person that intentionally goes into someone's VOD just to watch a stream.
yeah, no. And I mean, that's actually like and I mean anybody could like correct me, but I think that's kind of why they don't is like with a YouTube video, when you post the YouTube video, it's there.
Hmm.
So what happens is, you know, you don't want people to go see this content creator using the video when they can go look at your video
Hmm.
kind of thing. It's like why do you want to go look up this person's reaction to this presentation when you can just go watch the presentation sort of.
Yeah, exactly. And like what I remember when the whole DMCA thing became like a huge problem just like amongst Twitch in general. The thing is like because I went to school for music business, I kind of get why there was a bunch of DMCA strikes and whatnot. Um, but I personally want to hear your input on it because you also have like that music background.
I don't know, like okay, so it's like it's really funny because like there's two sides to it. Cause like there's the cause this is also the same thing with the YouTube copyright thing of like I would say that I have two things to say about this. But like the first thing is like there's kind of like two sides to it where it's like the again the you should go just listen to my song and or like go listen to the song or whatever, like that's my song and you're making money sort of doing this and so blah blah blah. Or like again with the react thing, why are you looking at somebody's reaction? We could just go look at my video, or like
Hmm.
that sort of thing. And it's like people kind of profiting off of other people's stuff where it's like I kind of get it. And then there's the other side where it's like, oh, what if it's like, you use it as marketing. So before DMCA, like if people were play a song and they liked it, they're like, hey, what's that song? And then you tell them and it's like, oh, they go look it up themselves sort of thing. Like that's
Hmm.
a real thing. And, it's kind of people are kind of getting like a lot of companies are kind of getting that, not necessarily with music, but with other kinds of content. And then lots of esports streams are doing companion streams and
Hmm.
generally stuff like that. They're having a lot of streamers promote things. But also one thing that I heard thrown around a lot in terms of the DMCA thing that made me laugh, because what I hear on the music side and what I hear on the streamer side are hilarious, where it's people will say, "Hey, these people have so much money, but they're going to DMCA your stream because you're making money while listening to this song." And I just want to say that, man, who are you guys looking at?
Yeah,
Who has a mad bank over there? Because
like
like it's like to keep it a full stack. There is like making money in that industry is just it's hard. It's hard. And it's like the way that you do it, the way that it happens, and just general, there's so many different weird logistic things. And sometimes it just leads to pennies and not really what people would think with how popular and how much of a medium music is and how much you may actually be making off of some of this stuff. So I mean, yeah, no, there are some people who are making mad bank, and yeah, it's whatever. And also, a lot of the time, it's not even their choice. It's specifically the agency that is like over it, or like the people who produced it, and
mhm.
like the record label itself, and not the artist who probably doesn't care, and they just want them to listen to the music. Like there's like those people who are like producing it and stuff like that, like they're not making that much fucking money. They're not. They're really not. There's not a lot of
Mhm.
people in the music industry that are making a ton of money. So whether or not it's scummy or not of what DMCA is, people might want to get it out of their heads that people are just that the music industry is swimming in money, because they are not.
Yeah, pretty
Like that's like
like
it's like
that's it.
I've been sitting there and I've been hearing people say that and I'm like, man, I wish. I was like, I wish.
Yeah,
Um,
like e like I also have like a semi music-ish background. I used to do like rap music when I was like younger and like
mm,
throughout some of college or whatever. Still dabble
yeah.
in it like every now and then. Um but like as soon as the DMCA thing started, the immediate thing that went in my head, I feel like I might have tweeted it out or talked about it at some point, but I was like, it's not even 9 times out of 10 when you get copyright strike for DMCA and whatnot. It's 9 times out of 10 not the artist. It's always like the record label, the agency, all that other stuff. Exactly
Yeah.
like you mentioned, because like I could literally go to my DistroKid account, which is what I use to get my
Mm,
music everywhere, And I can tell you right now, there's probably less than $5 in there over the span of like a couple years.
Yeah.
Like the only way that like artists are like primarily making money, like their main revenue streams is 100% like merch and live shows. Those are the two big things for them.
Yeah,
The
live
mu-
shows are massive. Yeah.
the music makes you the least amount of it, really.
Yeah, no, it's actually it's really funny. Like this is like, and this is like a fun thing about music versus content creation because they're very similar in that regard of
Yeah.
like, um, and just kind of in general where you have your like main thing sort of thing, and then from there you kind of have to branch out in ways, whether or not it's like big branching out where you do radically different things, or it's like little branching out where it's like kind of different variations on the same thing. So again, like as like a musician, say if you're like a rap artist, because for me it's way different of like what I would be doing, say versus what they're doing, where it's like, they make the music and it goes out there, and yeah, they're getting money, and honestly, they're for like the big artists, they are definitely getting enough for a living wage to do that. But like really it's like, oh hey, live show coming up, got a big tour, and like, they have other stuff, or even, buying the music, like buying physical the discs, like DVD, like
Hmm.
any kind of like physical disc or whatever, also is honestly not that much money, but that's still like a decent source of thing, or like any kind of like outside content related to that as well is like generally the thing. And I mean, honestly, like another thing that's pretty big is like radio, like just putting the music out there on like Spotify or whatever, like unless you're like super huge, is like it's cool. It's cool.
Hmm.
But like, say if you have it on the radio, say if you have it on a commercial, say if you have, again, like a live show, like those, that's money.
Hmm.
That's like, and then even if like, again, those things by themselves may not be that much, when you put it all together, that's when it's like crazy. It's like you have to kind of like put yourself out there, and like it is a grind. It's a grind.
It's a grind. It's
It's
a hustle. It's a lot, honestly.
yeah.
Like I've had like radio interviews and like had my music play on the radio.
Mhm.
But like a lot of the time, like especially for um musicians making money for music, there's a lot of different like it's not agencies. What's the word I'm thinking of? Royalties? Yeah.
Yeah, royalty. Yeah, the
Different
royalty.
type of royalties that like they can like sign up for to like be able to get like a little bit of knockback, like if it's played on radio.
Yeah, and that's another thing to talk about is royalties. That's another huge thing, because that is like that's truly kind of like, if you know how to finesse the contract, you can definitely get a little more out of it as well if you know kind of like what all that stuff means, and like understanding what you want the royalty fee to be, like kind of like how you
Hmm.
want like the royalties to like do sort of thing. Like, you can kind of get a nice little check out of that as well.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly. Like when I worked in Toronto, I worked at a company that dealt with royalties. I'm not gonna say
Hmm.
which one or whatever. Like it was
Yeah.
like a specifically like Canada one, and pretty much what would happen is the radios would send their radio log of like what all was played. We'd make sure that like it's a legitimate song by doing like our own research on it,
Yeah.
and then it would just go into a file so they know like how much they should be getting paid and all that. It was a
Mhm.
super interesting process. I didn't like it because it was so brain dead, but I was introduced to a lot of music,
Yeah.
but like luckily enough, like because I have like my music business degree, I have like enough knowledge about like each aspect of like the music industry because I've had courses on it.
Yeah.
um like I know how a record label works, I know how the royalties work,
Mhm.
I know how getting funding, paying artists, tours, merch, all like the whole 9 yards. Like that's what that course taught me over the span of 3 years.
Yeah.
And and just understanding that definitely helped me understand the DMCA stuff a lot more, because I feel like anyone who like doesn't have like any sort of like background involved in like music, just like in general, they probably wouldn't be able to understand what the big deal about DMCA is.
Yeah. And honestly, the other thing is like whether or not like and also like this isn't even really a like yo DMCA is good like lay off. This isn't
Hmm.
about that. Like this was like not like a hey like we shouldn't be saying whatever about DMCA like hey guys like protect the artist blah 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 protect the
Hmm.
regulator. Like it's not necessarily that. It's not necessarily about that, but it's like it's like kind of like when you understand it a bit more like for me whether or not you think DMCA is bad or whatever, honestly, I do want to play. I want to play my fucking Tower of Power playlist and all my big band stuff on my Twitch. I do, and
Hmm.
I don't care if I don't because I have the video game music playlist which doesn't get shot.
Yeah,
I was just like, but whether or not you think it's like scummy or not, I'm just gonna say that watch where where you put like labels on things because like again there is not as much money as you think over there in the music industry
hmm,
for you to be saying that they have money to throw away from DMCA and whether it
yeah,
just
no,
doesn't work like that. That's really
not
what
at
this
all.
is. It doesn't work how you think. Okay?
Yeah,
That's really what this is. Like that's what this conversation is about. Is it does not work how you think, and it's just like from there.
exactly.
Whether or not you think it's good or bad or whatever, like just kind of be careful about what you say because it might be incorrect.
Yeah, I like as soon as it dropped and I saw on Twitter everything, I was just shaking my head. I'm like, come on, you guys are getting mad at the wrong people here.
Yeah, no, and I mean, like, I get it, but
Hmm.
also, yeah, no, like, it's like might be getting mad at the wrong people a little bit.
100%. Like all the artists that like they think is like making hella bank, it's because their record label made a deal with them to give them X amount of money. But
Yeah,
what they don't understand is in those deals they have to pay back that money. Or
that was something I would say. Is, like, sometimes, yeah. Like,
yeah.
again, it depends. There's a ton of different types of contracts that you
Hmm.
can like do that partake in
Yeah,
that have
like
different things.
like honestly we could like keep going for like a while just talking about every little different thing about the music industry and who gets what and like the whole nine
Yeah.
yards.
And honestly, you could probably tell it. You could actually tell it better than me. I like definitely don't have as much music business experience as
Hmm.
you do. Like a lot of my music knowledge is definitely within the music and analyzing and breaking down that kind of thing and just in general being a player and a performer, not necessarily on the business side. I know a
Yeah.
bit. I know quite a bit, but like not definitely not as much as you.
Yeah, like that is honestly one of the reasons I chose the program that I went for, because because of course I mentioned earlier at the time like I was trying to be a rapper, which
Yeah.
obviously being white and stuff that doesn't really help me.
Well, like people can do it. People can do it. Look, it don't matter. It don't matter.
But
Like if you spitting, you spitting. That's it.
yeah, exactly. But like the main reason was that way I understood like the whole back end of everything and whatnot. Because I actually almost got scammed hard
Mhm.
when I was like a bit younger. Because apparently someone from Capitol Records or some shit ended up emailing me and being like, "Yo, we want to get you signed and whatnot," and then I figured out that it was a scam, and I told them to go fuck themselves. Um,
Damn.
but yeah, getting away from the music talk here, because I feel like some people are probably might be a bit tired of it. I'm personally not, but um, of course, with like since like I've known you anyways, you've gone through like a bunch of different games. And you did mention they were wanting to get into speedrunning and whatnot. I feel like one of the bigger introductions to you into like a speedrunning situation is almost like the Kingdom Hearts 2 randomizers that you guys have
Mhm.
been doing a lot of.
Yeah.
And by a lot, I mean like 3 every day almost.
Yeah, I would say we played a lot of Rando.
So what ended up making you want to do the rando stuff? Because like I know that we've talked before like off camera and whatnot that you're like kind of a sucker for Kingdom Hearts, anyways.
Yeah, no, I'm big Kingdom Hearts fan, but also a big uh Link to the Past randomizer fan as well. Like Link to the Past was kind of like one of like the first like, obviously like, you have the Pokemon randomizer, but in terms of like the style of like, like the Link to the Past, Kingdom Hearts, Metroid,
Hmm.
like where it's like it's progression, it's like, you have to get like certain like all of like your progression items are randomized, blah blah blah. I followed, or like around 2017, 2018, I was heavily following Link to the Past randomizer. And I didn't play it because I didn't set it up. I didn't have time to set it up. Like in high school, like basically essentially before I started streaming, my free time was playing any random game, whether or not it be Smash or just whatever, with friends, and practicing trumpet. And at the time in high school, sax. So I also play sax as well.
Which
Where it's like it was
which
I have okay, I know what you're gonna ask. I'm
yeah.
sorry for cutting you off.
All
I
right, all good.
have mostly tenor sax. That was like what I started learning, but I also have an alto sax and a soprano sax as well.
Okay, that
Yeah.
that's actually the question I was going to ask.
Mhm.
Which sax do you prefer?
Definitely tenor. I really like the sound of tenor more. A lot of like the sax players that I really like are primarily tenor, like in terms of like the stuff that I like to hear them on are primarily tenor stuff, and then like it's just the one that I've been playing the longest, so it's just the one I'm the most comfortable with.
Gotcha. I've been a I think it was a tenor. Yeah, I was a tenor sax player when in
Mhm.
high school.
All
I
right.
I was okay at it.
Let's go. Let's go. All right.
um so we're going to hop into one of the little games that we have here cuz we have a few different segments that we do actually have to get to. Um cuz we're already like almost 15 minutes in. So
Oh
um
man.
so this game is one that I've been playing every single episode. It's called One Has to Go. So
Okay.
essentially how it goes is I'll list three things in a certain category that either I know you well in or that I think you know well. And you have to pick one that stops existing.
Okay.
So so this one we are going with fighting game franchises.
Okay.
So your options are Guilty Gear,
All right.
Fighters, and Smash.
Which one would have to go?
All yeah, and
Oh,
and,
that's
and
actually.
for
Oh
Smash it would
no.
be all the Smash, Guilty
Yeah,
Gear,
it'd be like
all of
all
them.
like
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
but
Okay.
Fighters it would literally just be Fighters. That was the only one.
Oh,
Uh,
that's like. Oh,
unle-
that's actually
unless you want
mad
to
hard.
count in like the Budokai and all that other stuff, but
And that would be mad hard because it's like Smash is definitely like my favorite games to play, and we'll probably get into it later because I think it's a part of a question, but has two of my favorite iterations of characters
yeah.
in terms of to play, and sort of thing. Dragon Ball is like just like it's just my childhood. Like it's like Dragon Ball is just one of those things that I have just grown up with, and it's just something that has been a part of me for so long. And then Guilty Gear, I have not been a fan, like, I haven't been a fan of Guilty Gear for that long in terms of me playing the games. I've watched some of the games, and it was hyped to watch them at Evo and like Combo
Hmm.
Breaker and like any kind of like tournaments that had the game. But I mean, I didn't follow the game or really know anything about the characters until very, very, very recently. Like basically like end of 2020 to now is like basically at this point essentially about a year that I've like been super into Guilty Gear, but it has Emilia, which is like a super sick character. I think I would get rid of Guilty Gear. I think that would be the one that has to, like, I don't know. I don't know. I might get rid of Fighters. I'm gonna keep it a black. I might get rid of Fighters. It's like it's between Fighters and Guilty Gear. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of Guilty Gear. Oh man,
Damn.
that
I, w-
was hard.
I
Because
want.
I really like Milia as a character in Guilty Gear. It's like her a lot of like her like movement and stuff. Like she's definitely like a me kind of character. So it's like, yeah.
Hey, I mean, you had to pick one, so I didn't give you much of a
Mhm.
choice there. It's pretty much a gun to the head situation. Pick one
Yeah.
is gone. But yeah, fighters like just like Dragon Ball in general definitely hits me with like nostalgia every single time. Like even though a lot of the games are pretty much the same, it tells the same story just in a different way or in the exact same way.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I'm always like Dragon Ball Z,
Dragon
yay!
Ball, bro. It's
Give
just like
me
it's
that
so good.
Dragon Ball.
And it's so funny because Dragon Ball is something that I would enjoy, but I would not enjoy as much as I do now if I didn't grow up with the show. Like it's
Oh yeah,
just it's just like it's
100%.
just there.
Like I remember when I was younger and like this was before high school for sure. I can't remember how old I was, but like I was watching Dragon Ball Z like all the time. Every now and then I would see Dragon Ball on TV, but it'd be like super late at night, so like I barely saw
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
And I remember getting like I think it was like 2 DVDs of Dragon Ball GT, which I know is not canon, but I fucked with it.
Dude, I mess with some GT. People feel some type of way about GT, and is it that good? No. But is Dragon Ball Z and Super that good? No. So look. It's for the enjoyment. Dragon Ball is a fun franchise, and
Yeah.
honestly, GT was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, like I found with GT, like I was pretty okay with like most of the sagas. The only one that I was like about was I think like the first one, which they were literally just looking for the Dragon Balls.
Mhm.
So that one was kind of mad. The Super
Yeah.
17, the Baby, and the Shadow Dragon sagas were all super fucking sick.
Yeah, I think for me, I'd say like, oh, like of those, my least favorite is probably Super 17 actually, and
Mhm.
then, but honestly, like again, like when I like look at Dragon Ball, I'm like, man, like was it fun? Was it a fun watch? Yeah, all right,
Mm,
cool. Because
Yeah.
I mean, like Super, I will tell you right now about Dragon Ball Super is that Dragon Ball Super up until like episode like 90 something when the Tournament of Power starts, Dragon Ball Super is not that good of a show. As much as I like the movie retellings, I love like or as much as I like the movies that the show retells, I would just watch like generally if I was to rewatch Super, I would watch the first two movies and then start the Universe 6 tournament arc. Universe 6 tournament arc was a super fun watch, but it's cap as all get out. And same thing with Zamat, like with the Future Trunks arc, is that it's like a fun watch, but
hmm
it's so bad. That one's garbage. So it's like it's horrible. But was it fun? Yes.
Yeah, I
And then
found.
Tournament of Power was just fun as hell. Like
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
Tournament of Power was absolutely insane. Like so many people love that, and like it brought so many banging characters.
yeah.
And then yeah, like I can agree with you for like the first like 2 sagas, like the retelling of the movies. Like I would 100% just watch the movies again. There was no I found that there was no point to make it into a like different sagas like that. Just say it's canon and fucking call it a day, honestly.
Mhm.
Um what'd you think of them actually making Broly canon though?
I mean, um, well, first off, to actually like, and actually, this is funny because this is like going to be like in part we're talking about the first two movies as well, Battle of Gods and Resurrection F.
Mhm.
Generally, the reason why a lot of people do this, and you'll see this literally this season of anime with Demon Slayer, the Mugen Train arc,
Mhm.
where even though they had this movie that was extremely successful and they like people loved it, it's kind of hard and like jarring for some people to go from season one of Demon Slayer, and then you have the Mugen Train arc, and then you see season two of Demon Slayer, but it starts at the Entertainment District, which is like the next arc after Mugen Train.
Mhm.
And so it's like for certain people that's super jarring. Some people may not know that it's a movie when they're binging it at first.
Yeah.
If they like are going in without any knowledge to like with other things. Like a lot of
Yeah.
times anime movies are generally considered non-canon. So when you kind of go in, or like it's like a standalone film, like A Silent Voice, or the other one that people like a lot. Um,
Spirited Away.
so yeah, I mean like Ghibli
Yeah.
movies and stuff. Yeah, it's like Ghibli film, Spirited Away and stuff like that. Your Name, that was the one I was thinking of. Like and so like that's the reason why Super went in that direction. I'm pretty sure it's just kind of like streamline those things. I mean, they didn't really have to because it, but they did, and it's it's whatever. But in terms of Super Broly, it kind of comes into that and just kind of like slaps me in the face because I don't even think there's probably not going to be an anime adaptation of Broly if the Super anime comes back.
Hmm.
And there's no manga adaptation, and they just kind of Toyotaro just went whoop and just continued doing with what he was doing in the manga. So I mean,
Hmm.
hey, that takes what I say and just kind of is like, hey, whatever. But hey, I mean, if he ever writes in it at some point, it's fine or whatever. But I think it's fine being canon, having a Broly rewrite. I mean, as big and muscly and powerful as Z Broly is, that's it. That's his entire this is just
That's
it.
his personality.
He screams Kakarot and punches things, and that's what he does. And
Yeah.
he is at this point far too underpowered to be considered anything after, especially after Bio Broly. Like
Yeah.
between like Broly 1 and Broly 2, like Broly movie 1 and Broly movie 2, it's like okay. And honestly, funnily enough, there's like an argument that he just like stays around the same power if you were to like power scale it, because it's like adult, like it's like Gohan like going around Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2 when he's like kind of around the same power slash weaker than what he was when he beat Cell, which is like Gohan, like Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, and Trunks were like Super Saiyan 1 around Cell, end of Cell Saga kind of
Hmm.
thing. So it's like he's like around that level, and if like from losing to Goku there to like coming back then he doesn't gain that much, it would be funny to kind of like write him in a way where he just gets jacked all the way up to where they are now.
Yeah.
So completely rewriting Broly, actually giving the dude a character and like a backstory, and like kind of giving him just like some new stuff. I actually mess with Heavy. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I definitely really enjoy the fact that they did that did the re I can't even say it anymore. I'm not even gonna try. You guys know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
because I 100% agree with like the Z Broly situation. He literally screams Kakarot and punches things. That's literally it. That
He's
that
big.
that is his personality. He is big. He punches and yells Kakarot. Um, but we are going to hop into some Twitter questions here real quick, just because I'm literally just looking at the time and oh my god, I'm not even going to think about it right now. So the first question is from Bright Wolves. He has a 3-part question, of
This is a
course.
great question. This is a great
Um,
question, by the way.
yeah. First question is, why is audio such a bitch?
He just kind of. It's funny because like earlier today we played some Mario Party, and honestly, it was hilarious. Audio, it's just audio. We love him for it, but,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's kind of like a running joke where it's like if like Audio and Bright will like hang out, and then like they'll like randomly post in like the rando chat sometimes, or like come into my stream chat and be like, oh,
Degenerate.
Bright's a bitch, or Audio's like they'll just kind of like they've just kind of been going back and forth. So that was like a fun question.
Yeah, that's kind of just how they are, and I always
Yeah,
I always get a good laugh at it. Like literally in that random group today, I just see a bunch of shit. I'm like, what the hell's going
I
on?
love those two. I love those two. They're great.
Yeah. So second question here is current favorite fighting game to grind, and which character do you like the best in that game?
Um, Definitely, it will always and forever be Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube. I love that game, and Peach is my friend. Just in general, when we talk about like one of your favorite characters in a fighting game, period, because like he asked like in that game, but honestly,
Mhm.
like Melee Peach and also Ultimate Peach are just two of my favorite designed like 1v1 characters, just like period. I love those
Mhm.
characters. They're so sick. They just float around and they do stuff, and you can like, and it's funny, like, I was gonna say it's like you can like move on people, but you can do that in Ultimate, but like in Melee, Peach is a lot slower. And you could definitely move on people, but she's like she kind of like tends towards like a different kind of like way that I like to play, because generally I play rushdown characters, but I play mad lane. I generally play characters with like lots of movement and like good rushdown,
Mhm.
but I like play super lame. I'll like try to position. I'm like using a lot of that movement instead of pulling up on you. I'm like trying to like position and like waiting for you to like do something, and then I pull up, as opposed to just forcing myself onto you sort of
Yeah.
thing. So like I can't really like they're like Peach doesn't really have that kind of option at all. She's like a super tank. Like she's like in that game she's more like tanky, where like she has like the tools to reposition and like schmoove on you in a way of like the way that I do play the game, just kind of in a different fashion of instead of pulling up, you're like trying to like bait things or like move around in kind of like a way that's like very creative, which I super dig.
Mhm.
But she like isn't like a like glass cannon, like she just kind of like explodes. She kind of does sometimes, because being a floaty means you die off the top a bunch, but generally she's like a super tanky character that's like decently heavy, can survive for quite a bit of time, and forces scrambles. You just sit there. She's like, a lot of people call her the trade queen, where she just kind of like it doesn't matter, because like if you get hit, if you hit them too, and you guys just trade, because generally it's a Peach favorite trade.
Mhm.
And like she has funny scramble tools of just like 2-frame jab, where it's just like if you're scared, you just fucking press that button and it just like stops them. It's just like a jab check real quick. And then you have down smash, which is like a 6-hit smash attack that in that game is really stupid, where it's like the way that the move was designed is so that you really only are supposed to hit it once and they go flying. But what happens is that if you like hold down and you like directionally influence yourself like down towards Peach, you can get like multiple hits. So you can get like 2 hits off the down smash, and like generally it would only do like 15, but
Yeah.
if you can get like 2 or all 6, it goes from like 40 to like 60 to just explode. But that character, both characters are super fun. And another kind of like super fun character, like I love a lot of the Melee characters, Melee Falco, Melee Fox, are characters I like a lot. And if we were to talk about like my favorite iteration of a character outside of Smash, it's probably either Guilty Gear Accent Core Milia or Guilty Gear Strife Milia right now.
So Milia.
Yes, just Milia, but like though like those two characters are quite different, but I like she's a fun character.
Yeah. Um. So the last question from Bright. Oh my God, there's too many questions. Favorite and least favorite Kingdom Hearts world can be from Rando or just series in general.
Okay, so favorite Kingdom Hearts world is hard, because I'm not sure. There's like a few worlds that I like, and I think that like Kingdom Hearts, I'll start with like my least favorite, because that one's kind of easy, and it's like I don't like it, like, and this is like mostly just because of Rando, and it's like Kingdom Hearts 2 Space Paranoids, or Kingdom Hearts 2 like Olympus, or even Agrabah. Actually, no, I hate Agrabah more than Olympus. It's like either Cage 2 Agrabah or Cage 2 Space Paranoids. Fuck both those worlds. Another,
Space Paranoids is the Tron world, right?
yeah, the Tron world,
Okay.
yeah. Outside of that, Cage 1 Agrabah can also just go disappear. Uh, like I don't remember much about KH1 because it's just been a minute since I played it, but man, that world is cap. But my favorite worlds, honestly, I have a lot more worlds that I like than dislike, because I mean, I think say like, if we talk about Kingdom Hearts 2, I do like, and this again purely from like a rando standpoint, I think the tower climb is really fun, so I like the world that never was.
Yeah.
I think that I like Hall of Bastion, except Thousand Heartless. I like that's probably like those are probably my 2 favorite worlds from like 2 are like World That Never Was and HB, almost like purely like World That Never Was purely from a random standpoint, and then like Hollow Bastion and what other world would I think of? Honestly, I dig like Halloween Town and LOD honestly too. Like they're like in rando, both the worlds are kind of whack, but I mean, I like Mulan and I like Nightmare Before Christmas, so I mean, I just kind of like partial to those worlds. And
Yeah.
outside of KH2, I really like Dream Drop Distance World That Never Was and Dream Drop Distance Symphony of Sorcery World. Birth by Sleep, H Birth by Sleep, Radiant Garden. It's cool. Has a good theme, banger theme. And kind of mixed, but I like running around in KH3 um KH3 Pirates
Okay.
is fun as well. Yeah, I'd probably say like right now those are like I'd say like my favorites are like definitely like just Hollow Bastion in general, honestly, just kind of like even like KH1, so like KH1 and 2, Hollow Bastion, and then like Birth by Sleep, Radiant Garden. I like that world a lot.
Yeah, like for some reason when I first played KH2, I like one of my favorite things was like that Thousand Heartless fight, just because I found it like so interesting, and the fact that like 1,000
It's like
models
actually
respond.
1,000
Yeah,
Heartless. I think
yeah.
I think it's super sick in terms of like the story wise and the fact that they actually make you fight 1,000 Heartless. I actually really like that, but I mean,
I'm honestly.
Rando has kind of ruined that fight for me when you're like getting one like if you don't have like Combo Master or Magnet Burst or you don't have like once more and you just like your defense stat is garbage and you're just taking laser, you just die. I'm like, oh nah,
Yeah,
slog. But I mean, actually, Thousand Heartless is actually a super cool fight though. Like
yeah.
out like in vanilla when you take out like Rando, like I just have Rando brain because I've just the past 100 times that I've played KH2 is fucking Rando
Yeah, pretty much.
and not vanilla.
Yeah, what I think the Thousand Heartless just like in general amazed me, just like thinking about the fact that like they had 1,000 Heartless models all in one spot and on the fucking PS2.
Yeah.
I I
There
think
were
that is a,
corners cut for that, but
of
like
course there's always things,
when you're first looking at it, you're like, man, like I'm actually fighting 1,000 Heartless. That's crazy.
but
And then like
yeah.
you realize it's like,
Hmm.
you know, it's definitely there are not 1,000 models
Yeah,
active running around at the same time, and
yeah,
it's just
but there is
like
still
there
a
you do have
lot.
to fight 1,000. Like there is 1,000, and it's
Mm,
just like
it's cut
they're just
down.
kind of like little like 2D cardboard cutouts until it's their turn, and they come in when it's their turn.
Yeah,
Type beat like
yeah.
it is pretty cool how they designed it because it's like it's kind of like proximity based in a way where it's like yeah they're like those little 2D cardboard cutouts but like as you get close to them it's like then the
Mhm.
other ones become 2D cardboard cutouts and then these ones
Yeah,
become real type beat.
yeah.
Oh no, it's funny. It's funny.
Yeah. Either way, it was like still like a super fucking sick thing to see.
Mm.
So we have one more question from Chocolate Chip Pancakes, and it is, what is it in particular that makes fighting games speak to you on such a high level versus other genres?
Um, this question is hard to answer because honestly, like I a lot of genres kind of like speak to me in that way. I feel like again, like I'm like mostly known because of fighting games, and
Yeah.
I mean they are like a lot of the times they're like the games that I play the most, especially now, where it's just like I'll answer the question where it's like I just enjoy the grind
Hmm.
really. Like I enjoy the grind. Like if you knew me like in high school, like I didn't like, I'd spend like a decent amount of time like hanging out, but like I was grinding Trumpet. And it's just like that sense of improvement. And it's like you set the goal for yourself and then you accomplish it. Even if it's not that day and you're frustrated that day, but you come back the next day and you work at it, and then in about like a week you get it, you're like, yes, kind of
Yeah.
thing. Where it's like, it's like you kind of have that like breakthrough where it's like, like that sort of thing is just really good. And I am like, they Core Gaming has like the video about like the innovator versus the honer. I'm definitely far more of like a honer, and I'm just like I'm there and I'm on the grind. Like I'm for me, like I'm just there grinding. Like there was definitely like up until recently where like obviously we won't get into it, but like I took like a bit of a break from Trumpet and I came back, but I mean before that break, I like basically played Trumpet for like almost every day, minimum like 4 hours, 5 hours. Just like
Jesus Christ.
minimum. That was
Minimum.
that was my that was my life. My
Jeez.
life revolved around my however expensive instrument that I just played all the time. That was like it. That was my thing though. Like I was like I like that was like that's just what I wanted to do. Really, it's what I wanted to do. And even now, like even though I don't have the same sort of like mindset of like I want to go into trumpet performance. I've like changed my mind a bit since then. That I still just like want to play trumpet. It's still one of my favorite things on the entire planet. And so it's just like that feeling of satisfaction and of improvement is just it is a powerful punch of dopamine to my brain no matter
Yeah.
what kind of thing that I'm doing. And that's why and it's like and this is it's just like general like fighting games give that to me. And also like the person to person is just fun. Being able to like move around on people and it's like not an AI and it's like a person who like can see my things and like do it and it's not a bot and they're like playing that two-player game is sick. When you play the
Mm.
two-player game and you guys are working off of each other and trying to like counter what each other is doing and adapting, that's super sick. But I mean, like really, like honestly, like the biggest thing for me is like it's just the grind in general, and that's like another reason why I want to do speed running, but also why the question is like weird for me at first, where it's like the question is what makes it shine over other genres, where I mean truly like a lot like fighting games. I don't even know if like fighting games are like my favorite genre. They might be. Like it probably is. But like, my favorite game of all time is like an RPG and like a lot of the games that I play a ton of platformers. And it's like another reason why I want to speedrun. Like speedrunning is another grind thing. Like that like
Mhm.
I feel, like I kind of want to grind and like play like a 3D platformer, something like a Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine had in
Yeah.
time. Like I'm kind of like partial towards those games as well. Like my favorite platformer is like Ori and the Will of the Wisp. I'd love to play that game too. Like I don't know what game I like would speedrun, but like I am a fan of the grind. And just that's really it.
Just start speedrunning the Smash Brawl story.
This speedrunning subspace, bro. I mean, maybe.
I the funny thing is like when I was like first starting getting into like speedrunning myself, I was actually speedrunning the original Smash Bros on the 64.
Pretty sick.
Yeah, it was like all character 3 stock normal,
Uh-huh.
and like my PB was like just under 3 hours, I think.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah, no, that's like super sick though. But, I kind of want to like I want to like get in and I want to like feel that kind of thing for like something else as well. And that's kind of like my stream. Like I've kind of like talked about it where it's like shifting a bit more towards like speed running and obviously like the music streams where it's like I'd probably like there's gonna be like very little like true like single player like variety on my stream
Yeah.
because between fighting games, speed running, and music, like I don't want to like stretch my content thin kind of
Yeah.
thing. And like just kind of have it too spread out, stuff like that. So
Yeah. Spreading out too much is not very good, especially for like sitting at like a growth standpoint. Because
hmm
I've seen like so many different like tweets and like videos mentioning like, especially as like a small streamer, sticking to like either like one game or one genre is huge, especially
yes.
for growth, because
I've
like you
heard that
build a
as well.
community around that type
hmm
of thing.
Yeah. No, that's actually that's like super huge where it's like you stick to that niche and you're consistent because then it's like when people think about it, they're like, oh yeah, there's this person that's doing this and he's normally live around this time. I wonder if he's still live and he is
Mhm.
kind of thing. It's like having that kind of consistency within that is good, and spreading out your content too thin, like, dude, be like people who like get big off of like variety, like being a small streamer. You guys give me the secret, bro. You guys got the juice. You guys are maximum entertainment because
Give me
if
the
people
Krabby
are
Patty
trying to,
recipe.
yeah, if like people are watching you like that, you are maximum entertainment
Yeah, exactly.
for whatever reason. It's because that's hard. Because it's like, like obviously, generally, if you get big, you are big entertainment value. Like you are entertaining, and that's generally always the case. Like sometimes it's like you the person are not entertaining, but your gameplay is, and so sometimes it's like people will watch pros because their gameplay is entertaining. Watching them play the game and then learning about from them is also entertaining, sort of thing. So like some
Hmm.
people will say like, "Oh, well, this person isn't entertaining. He's just good at the game. How did he get big?" And it's like, it's because his gameplay is entertaining. Shut up. Trying to
It's
hate on people.
it's because he's completely fucking cracked at it.
Yeah, he's bad cracked, and that's fun to watch. It's fun to watch people be cracked at the game. It's also fun to watch people be
100%.
bad at the game. But it's like yeah,
Yeah,
we move on.
like every now and then when I watch Fortnite, I just see them build like an Eiffel Tower. I'm like, how the fuck are they
Oh,
doing this? I can barely make a ramp and walls around it.
build a house for me IRL, bro. You
Yeah.
are a whole contemporary designer, bro.
Yes, sir. So we're actually gonna hop into this last segment here, which is actually new to the
Cool.
stream. It's something that I wanted to do for the last episode, but I forgot. I'll be honest. I'll keep it a stack. I completely forgot to do it.
Oh, let's go.
But what we are doing is we are going on to Reddit. All right, and we're
Going on
grabbing
to
would
Reddit?
and we're grabbing would you rather's.
Oh my goodness. I have to okay.
So
I actually have to would you rather.
yeah,
I wish I forgot this week.
yeah, so pretty much what I'll do is before the podcast I'll look at the top weekly and grab two or three would you rather's. I ended up grabbing three because I didn't think we were going to go this long, but you know what? I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. Long podcast for you guys. If you guys are watching over on YouTube, like the video, subscribe. Give it a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. I don't know.
Like button is free, by the way.
Yeah, it's free. So is subscribing, so but yeah, the first question. Would you rather shoot yourself in the foot or have all your internet browsing history be public knowledge?
So it's would you rather shoot yourself in the foot or have all your internet browsing history be public?
Yes.
I mean, probably have my internet browsing history be public because my shit isn't cap. My internet browsing history isn't cap.
Yeah.
I'm just like, to be fair, it's like my browsing history is like, it's just like whatever. Like I don't really fucking look at anything.
Yeah, like I'm pretty much the same way. Like not even kidding, before I ended up moving out here, I would like I wouldn't use like incognito or anything just going on Pornhub. I didn't care.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
I'll keep it a
there's,
stack.
there's,
Here
like,
you go.
partially like the shameless thing of like like what, whether or not like you watch porn or not. It's like, oh, I don't care. Like it's
Yeah.
like there could be that kind of shameless thing, or it's just literally like you just don't look up anything cap. It's just
Yeah.
what my like, especially so if we talk about like the past like month, it's like again it's fighting games. Like it's like fighting games. It's like Twitch, just generally watching Twitch streamers,
Yeah.
YouTube, watching fucking I watch a lot of VTubers. Just fucking watch some VTubers and shit. And like like looking up various things about music and all that stuff. Like that is essentially my like browsing history. Like
Yeah.
and then whatever is on Twitter. Like whatever's on Twitter. So
Yeah, like that's pretty much the same with like
I
my
don't care.
computer for the most part, but like my phone it's
It's
semi similar but with porn.
yeah, and yeah, but yeah, I mean, and that's fine. And if you're
Yeah.
okay with that, that's fine.
Yeah.
And like
Exactly.
it's funny where it's like, oh yeah, let me see your browsing. Let me see what fucking porn you like. It was like a lot of people don't care anyway. It's like
Yeah.
what it's like most
It's-
people are like, yeah, go ahead.
It's like a normal thing at this point. Like
I feel like for a lot of people, and especially for like generally like if you're like looking at people's like history, like you already know what they're into beforehand. Like
yeah.
like it doesn't matter. Like, it's not gonna be as interesting as you think. You already know what people are into, you know?
Exactly. Like one of the people that I had on the podcast a couple episodes ago, Kyle A. Not even kidding. Whenever he was doing something on like his browser, or he was showing something on his browser, he he intentionally left it so that way he had Pornhub favorited, so it would always show at the top.
Oh, that's so sick.
And, and he did that intentionally because he knew more people would comment on it, and it honestly it was a godlike strat.
No, that's wait, no, wait, okay, no, like, that's crazy.
That's
That's actually
actually the
that's it.
tech.
My man has the IQ on him, because he's like, people are gonna be like, yo, like, you good? You down bad? He doesn't care.
He's like, yes,
If
sir.
he has a favorite, he's like, I'm fine, bro. But
Yeah.
no, that's actually that's so smart. That dude, that's called viewer engagement. And then you want to know what's gonna happen is those people are gonna be like, yo, look at this dude's channel, and they're gonna watch the video again, and they're gonna make their friend watch it, and then if their friend is also a degenerate, they're gonna show their other friends,
Yeah,
and it's just gonna keep going, and then just look,
exactly.
it's smart.
It's a winning formula, honestly.
It's the strat, bro. Honestly, I need to start doing that. Speaking of like winning formula, I need to start doing that with Twitch.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to have the title game like on lock.
Yes,
Like
sir.
I have to have the clickbait titles OD because, and I mean we're both Pokemon fans, so I know that you know Shofu.
Yeah.
Shofu's Twitch titles are powerful.
Yeah, like literally when BDSP came out, he was like, what's the ice type gym leader's name?"
Yeah, was Lies Sergeant Leader's name. Or like, and he does like, you know, he does that like all the time basically.
Yeah.
It's like all of his like stream titles are just something like funny or just like something cap so that people can come in and like type in chat, and he just like gets the viewer engagement. It's like, it's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
smart.
He's
I
actually
gotta start doing that.
yeah, he's so like crack when it comes to that. People who are good at like thumbnailing, titling, and all that other stuff is actually insane.
Give me the secret.
Yeah.
I'm boring. Help me.
I have no content. Help.
I'm boring.
All right, so the next one we have here is: would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or go to the future to meet your descendants?
Huh. Let's see. I would honestly, I would probably go to the future and meet my descendants. I'm far more interested in what the future would be than what the past has already been, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a lot of times it's kind of like, you know, we must learn history because we must not, you know, we like learn to not let history repeat itself, blah blah blah. And like, it would be really cool to visit like the past and just see like kind of like what it's like over there and how people were. But I mean, like, I'm generally far more interested in just the future in general.
Yeah, I'm 100% like the same way with that. Like the past, I'm like, just don't repeat it, you know. Which I feel like we've been close to doing that multiple times already.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like I'm more interested on like what the future holds and like what it looks like.
Did they repeat our mistakes?
Yeah,
Like,
please,
you know,
please don't.
but you know, it's like, and just in general, just to observe to see how much times have changed. Because I feel like that's a lot more, like that's just something that's more interesting to me, is just to see how times have changed as opposed to see what changed with us.
Yeah,
I'd be like, you know, it's like, man, it's like, you know, this is what we used to do, and now this is how this is now.
exactly. Like even if we like hypothetically went back like 10, 15 years, there wasn't touchscreen smartphones at the time.
Yeah.
It was all flip phone and the slide phone. That was all it was. And,
Should I sell Blackberries, by the way?
yeah, oh my fucking Blackberries, dude.
Bro.
The only way that I had Blackberry was when Blackberry was shot and Apple got a hold of BBM. That was the only time I had any sort of interaction with it.
Wow.
All right, so we have one last one. Would you rather never have sex again or have sex twice each day and it's mandatory? You have to whether or not you want to.
Mandatory?
Yes.
Oh my god, what kind of fucking question is this? This is cap as hell. Oh my god. I mean, I don't know, and like, and the weird thing about this is that like for me, like when I look at this, it like doesn't matter. It's like weird because it's like people would look at this and it'd be like, oh, like these are like two different extremes, but I mean like really like not having sex at all and like having sex like twice a day is kind of like wild. Like, but
Yeah.
like, dude, it's mandatory, bro. Can it like it's like what if
Uh,
I didn't feel like it that day? I was like, what if
tough.
I didn't feel like it
I
that
guess
day?
I guess you'll be a bottom that day. I don't know what to tell you.
I guess, bro. It's just like, look, I'm about to fucking go to sleep. I had a long day. It's like,
Like,
bro,
not right now.
I mean, because it's also like like I don't know. Like I don't like. It's weird because it's like it's not really like that big a thing. Like I feel like I wouldn't care about either one. Like this isn't like a like I'd be fine with either option. Where it's like like if you don't have sex, it's like okay, like whatever. Like you just don't have sex, blah blah blah. And then you have it twice a day. It's like sure, all right. But it's not like if it was like 6 times a day, it'd be like holy shit, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah, you
Like
no, time the
it's
fuck
like
out, get me
it's
out.
like yo, chill. But it's like it's only twice. It's like only twice.
Hmm.
Like it's like that's still like and honestly that's still quite a bit. But
Yeah,
like also it's not like the amount where you're like actually just like end my life. I don't know.
yeah,
I'd probably say I think I'd say none at all actually. I think I'd say none at all.
yeah. I'd probably say not at all as well. Just because my recharge time is quite a bit,
It's-
so it would literally have to be like first thing in the morning and at night.
um
Like there, like people. Some people can do just like go twice, 2 rounds, call it a day. I'm like, I don't know how you do that. Impressive.
I be like that when it be like that, especially when it be like that.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
are all we are all very different human beings constructed on the inside, so
Yeah, exactly. And
you
like
just gotta take what you can get.
with the never have sex again. Bitch, I still have my hand. I'm fine.
See? I mean, or it's just like, it's just whatever. Like,
Yeah,
if you're not like if you're not thinking about it, then it's just like, okay, like whatever, you're just gonna do other stuff.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
be like I like that's my mindset where it's like I feel like with like the twice a day and it's mandatory, it's like something that's always in the back of my mind, slash I have to like make time for it versus like none at all. It just doesn't matter. It's just a non-entity to my brain.
Exactly. It's nothing that you actually have to like try to plan around or something like that.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, yeah, honestly, I think that's probably about it for this podcast. We've been going for almost an hour and a half. So
I know, yeah, this has been a bit of a sizable chunker.
yeah, I just look at the recording time. I'm like, oh, okay, we've been going for a bit. I need to start getting through this stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. Um, thank you once again for joining me on this interview, Soup. Um, and just let the people know where they can find you.
Let's see. So, I again my twitch.tv/ the superior, and then also my Twitter that I am starting to use more often that I didn't use for like 3 years. The superior 292, capital T, capital S. That's basically it. It's where you can find me. There might be a YouTube in the future, but that'll we'll see.
Let's go YouTube. I'm pretty sure Ross said the same thing like the last episode as well. He was
Yeah.
like, there might be a YouTube in the future. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see where the content goes. Like, definitely focusing a little bit more on content versus like school type beat.
yeah, of course.
Recently, just kind of seeing where it goes. I'm like definitely a bit more interested in it than I used to be. So we'll
Mhm.
see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, all you guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Cinex Realize on every social media platform. Literally over here on YouTube. I stream over here now. I haven't streamed on Twitch for in like a month, and it feels pretty lit. Um, yeah. If you guys enjoyed it, definitely hit that like button, comment, subscribe. If you guys are watching on Apple Podcasts, give it a 5-star rating. I might read reviews if those actually come in. And on Spotify, just download it because I guess that's how it's tracked on Spotify. It's really weird, but yeah, that's it for this interview. I'm Sinterview, and I'll see you guys in the next podcast. Bye bye.